Hello, everybody, and welcome to another My Music. Now, you know, when I start and it's just me on the screen and no guest, that means that we've got more than one person coming to talk to us today. And that's absolutely true on this occasion as well. I will be speaking to two members of Wednesday's Child straight after this.
Keep on, don't stop.
Oh, and there you go. You see the magic of television or YouTube or whatever it is. There we are. Georgia and Amelia, thank you so much for joining me. Just to explain to people that have never kind of met Wednesday's Child, the group before, who's missing from this occasion?
We're missing Joel and Stella. We're a four-piece, but we sometimes play live with other musicians and record with them. But the core four of us are us two and Joel and Stella.
Cool. What are those two doing today then?
I know, it's rude, isn't it?
Working, yeah.
Working.
Things, I know.
How dare they have other projects and other friends?
And now listen, I got to compliment both of you just to begin with on your La Maison Scène in the background. You've got some great stuff. Georgia, you seem to have a great love of portrait photography and paintings and stuff. So talk us through some of that, because that's wonderful.
I didn't realize that until recently. Someone was in my bedroom and said, "Oh, you must really love faces." I didn't really consciously accumulate portraits, but I guess that is what I'm I really love Rossetti women, and then I love photographs of kind of artists in action. So there's like Billie Holiday and Patti Smith. That was a Robert Mapplethorpe painting photograph. Yeah, I don't know, I guess I'm just really interested in eyes and composition around faces.
I think that's great. I can't remember where it is, but we stopped off at a stately home on the way back from somewhere once, and there was a whole load of photographs taken by a very famous photographer, and it was all like pictures of the Rolling Stones and their girlfriends and whatever when they stayed there over a period of time. I'll have to look it up and tell you where it is afterwards, because I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was really great, and there was lots of those kind of photos. And I love going around National Trust houses because of that as well.
Yeah, I think as well it comes from my love of silent movies and also I guess like mime and corporeal like theatre and clowning, just how much is especially with silent moving acting, how much had to be gestural and facial.
Oh, well, now listen, we've got to come back to that, because that's difficult stuff in this day and age. And I just wonder whether how many people have actually got the patience for it these days. Amelia, though, I've got to mention the fact that you've got such colour coordination there. You've got a guitar and a wall and hair and a top that all kind of match.
You're seeing the tip of the iceberg. Everything is green in my life.
Is green your favourite colour? And why?
Yeah.
Why is green your favourite colour?
I really couldn't tell you. It's been my favourite colour since I was a child, like 9 or 10, and I started wearing more green, and I thought, wow, this feels good. I feel like whenever I don't know if it's to do with nature, but it just makes me feel calm. It feels like, I don't know, it just feels good. I always have like a green themed birthday party every year. And then one time my friend was like, for her birthday, it was like, I'm going to have a blue themed birthday party. So I had to wear blue for her birthday party. And halfway through the party, I like started crying and had to go and change into green again. So
it's funny. My eldest, his favourite colour is green as well. We've always had to buy him sort of green shoes, green tops, green coats, whatever.
I think he's going to do well in life. It's good. It's good.
Well, he's already doing quite well. He's 24 now. He's a lecturer in film. So
amazing!
Yeah,
wow.
maybe it's an artistic thing. Western College, which is in the southwest of England. Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely. There we go. Look, we enjoyed your backgrounds. For anybody that's listening to this, as you're driving down the M25 or wherever it is that you're driving, you can't see any of it. But Amelia's background has got green in it, and George's wall is covered in nice prints of people's faces. So there we go. Tell us a little bit about. Let's go back to this thing. Okay, let's go back to this thing about silent movies and. Did you say sort of clowning in there as well, or mime?
Yeah,
Mime.
clowning as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Where does the fascination of that come in? And because that, let's be honest, that's stuff that's like a lot of people struggle with these days, is because that requires just patience and just time to appreciate. And a lot of people seem to be wanting instant gratification with everything these days. So.
Yeah, I think as a child, I was just really, I became quite obsessive and fanatic about silent movie making, and also the kind of the French filmmakers like Georges Méliès and this kind of like fantastical world that could come from. I think something about silent movie acting is that it's always going to be one remove from real life, and I think nowadays. Especially with like kind of short form content, it's the illusion that it is the everyday, even though it can't be. And I enjoy art that does have a kind of a film of theatricality over it, because you're kind of calling out the fact that this is something that has been created by artists and then delivered in a way that is unnatural. So to kind of call that out, I think leaves you with more options to then lean into the fantasy of a creation.
I get that. There's totally an element of that to your music, isn't there? I mean, you're quite deliberate in making it known that this is an art form in your music.
Yeah, I guess fantasy can be a vessel for truth sometimes more than trying to recreate what actually happened moment to moment. It being more about rhyming with the truth than actually repeating the truth. And I also think there's something about theatricality that kind of shocks you into doing something new and responsive. And like when we're all playing live, there are moments in the songs that can become very heightened. And I think the drama of that means that we're all really needing to listen to each other and be responsive.
I was actually writing about it on social media yesterday, actually, which was, do you think there's a lack of kind of curiosity and sort of real creativity in a lot of stuff that's produced these days?
I mean, I feel that the conditions are not as welcoming as they could be. And I think that curiosity is not awarded as much as it should be. I work with children, that's my day job, and they're just the most naturally creative and curious beings. And that's what we all are. And I think, I mean, just speaking as like trying to be a creative in London, it can be really easy to try and numb out your sense of curiosity, because so often your curiosity can lead to disillusionment and heartbreak. But to not deny yourself the truth of that pain, to still be curious about the disheartening parts of life and the heartbreaking parts of life, I think is really important. And it'd be cool if art that's made about that was more welcomed and held and looked after.
What about you, Amelia? Is that something that sort of appealed to you in terms of becoming part of this ensemble? Were you sort of like wanting to find something which wasn't just kind of dumbing down?
Well, I was actually mainly doing engineering, like sound engineering, before. And when I met Georgia, I was quite adamant that I would come and like play keys for a bit, but I probably wasn't going to be able to do it long term. I was like, I'm just really busy with engineering. So I mean, I guess I wouldn't have taken it on at all if I didn't feel a really strong pull towards just like the energy of the music and of the people involved. And like, I mean, I could tell that before I'd ever played with them, but as soon as we got in a room together, I was like, oh, okay, I'm here now. And yeah, there's just such a level of, I think definitely like curiosity among all of us. Like when we get in a room together, so much of the time is spent like really getting into the nitty gritty of like what's going on for each of us at the moment, and like how we're doing really, and that becomes creative through curiosity. And I think there's not, I feel like I don't really know how, this isn't a massively coherent thought, but I feel like the culture of social media and streaming and numbers that's so ingrained in creation and art making these days leads to a culture of like comparison with each other, rather than, I think me and Joel were even talking about this recently, like rather than curiosity for the art around you. And yeah, that definitely doesn't feel present here. It feels like we all just really want to know each other. We all just really want to know what the creating process is like for each one of us, and really make a space.
What is it that drives what you write about? Because you are touching on some fairly dark subjects at times, but is that a collective sort of consciousness then within the group? Are you exploring kind of like the extremes of each other's worlds?
I would say so. And I think even though something is dark doesn't mean that it like I was saying before, the kind of the high drama and the high top moments, I don't think that makes it I mean, darkness is part of the human experience, and again, working with children, they're dealing with really world altering high emotions all the time, because when someone leaves the room, to them it's as if that person has died. They don't have object permanence. And what we are dealing with, even though it's kind of more recognized in adulthood if something is a true tragedy, we're always from birth is the most, we're all born kind of screaming and confused and expelled in a way that we didn't ask for. And I think that darkness shouldn't be something that we're scared of, but that we make friends with, because it's in the darkness that we you have to feel around for the light switch, and that in itself is a self-reckoning. Like if you're going to commit to doing that every time the lights go off in yourself.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much exactly what our new single that's about to come out is about.
Tell us a bit more.
It's kind of what the whole EP is about, but I guess specifically this song is called Darkness Mine. So it's about like reclaiming the darkness, and exactly what Georgia was just saying. Yeah, I don't know if you want to expand on the song, Georgia.
Well, because I was also just thinking, the song in itself, the structure has a lot of elements that kind of clash and rub up against each other in a way that it can feel, if you've dismembered parts inside yourself and kind of tried to disown them, but you can never really get rid of them. And so there's this battle that goes on inside of you of how do you rehome them and how do you sew them together? And it makes me think of all of us in the band have such varied musical tastes, and we're also all going through our own specific kind of self-reckoning 20s journey. But I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess we're just really lucky that we found the right people to make this kind of music with, because it could have Amelia and I could have so easily missed each other in life. And from our first conversations, even though the specifics of what we grapple with are different, there was such like a sisterhood over past pain, that there's the worry that no one will really understand or hold or care for or love, and to have found that is just such a special experience.
I love the way you talk about each other. It's really attractive to somebody from the outside, because there's a real relationship there, which, like, quite often in the band, it's, or when you talk to people that are making music together, you almost feel like there's a work relationship there, but maybe not necessarily something deeper underneath. But it does feel like, you know, you're drawing out something from each other that's almost quite spiritual.
Yeah, it's definitely a communion. I mean, I don't know about you, Amelia, but sometimes I've had conversations with some bands who play kind of on the same circuit as us in London, and you're not really making a lot of money, and you're really like having to steal time in order to make the stuff that you care about. And I don't really understand, if you weren't as close as we are, how you could make it work, because you really are having to steal time and stretch your resources to do it.
I think like the majority of our time like goes into like our relationships and like just getting in a room together, and as I was saying, like catching up, and that's when things happen. And like, yeah, you have to spend so much time, and you have to really choose it over and over, as Georgia said, because you're not making money from it. It's something that you have to find space. Like, we all have jobs, we all have to find space for it in the little crevices of our life. And I think it's really special that I think the reason it works for us is because the music happens when we get in a room together and like spend time together and catch up with each other and make space for each other in our lives. And yeah, I think that's why it works for us. And I agree. I don't know how people, like, sometimes I speak to people that like don't like each other. I'm like, I don't know how you're doing this.
How do you feel like the four of you are helping each other develop as people and artists?
What would you say? What's your gut?
Yeah, I think we all have like different creative backgrounds, and as Georgia said, we all have very different like tastes in music, so we're constantly like introducing each other to new things, and like have had different experiences coming into the music industry, and like the angle that we came in through. So whether that's like session work, or like more like Georgia does a lot of like writing and filmmaking, or like I did a lot of engineering and that kind of thing, and we've all come in through different avenues, so we've all got different things to give to each other, and different like musical tastes to share with each other. And then I think as people, it's just like we've developed a way of being so open with each other, where nothing is really off limits to talk about, and there's never a wrong time to talk about those things. And I think, I mean, it's classic. Everyone would say that London in your 20s can be really difficult and really isolating. And I think it does feel like, like a sisterhood, we have this unspoken pact that we're there for each other. And it happens in the moments where you don't even realize that you're leaning on someone. They help you out of a spot that you were in, and that just happens over and over again for me with these people.
Yeah, and it can be really confronting as well, you know, to really be raw in front of someone that you love and want to think well of you. To be your kind of ugliest and rawest can be really confronting, and sometimes a lot of the energy is spent on just continuing to commit to being seen by someone else. I guess going back to like social media, and how when Amelia and I were in our adolescence, that's when a lot of like social media was blowing up, and I think what that has done to our brains is to think that you can control the parts of yourself that you show the people that whose opinion you care the most about, and actually they're the people who should see all the variations of you, including the dark parts and the messy, sad parts.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't put everything out on social media as well. You know, maybe we should keep, maybe we should keep that for you know the people that we love the most. And you know, it's difficult, isn't it? Because people constantly talk about authenticity these days and being openly vulnerable and authentic online, etc. But in reality, is that the best option, or actually is that really where the space that should be filled by art? Is that where something that's actually bigger than ourselves ought to be in that space, as opposed to us showing literally what we're having for breakfast every morning and every waltz, etc. Because otherwise we lose an aspect of ourselves which should be private, I feel.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for the artist. And again, I would say that everyone is an artist. I think we're all born creative, and I think the way that you cook a meal or take a walk or have a conversation with a friend is art, and that life is poetry. It just takes different forms, and some people just write it down. But I think it's so important for every creative creation to have stuff that is not so kind of put up for sale. We commodify ourselves through the use of social media, and social media can be an amazing tool for things that are to be commodified, but that shouldn't be the precious parts of life, I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
Where do you both feel like the most free from everything that's going on in the sort of online world? I mean, for me, I love the fact that I live near the sea now. That's always like one of my favorite places, is just to stand by the sea. I just feel like that's the furthest away from like the online world, especially if you don't get your phone out, but and start filming it. But what about for both of you two? Where's for you, your kind of escape place?
A really random one for me is, I probably have a few, but one of them I would actually say is the gym. I feel like I love going to the gym. It's the time everyone puts their headphones on. I go to a really nice gym where like no one is ever weird, because I've been to gyms in the past where it's just like men being weird, but everyone just kind of is really friendly but keeps to themselves. I put my headphones on, I'm doing something that's like real self-care, I'm really looking after myself, and it's like I've had to walk to a specific place to do something. I get away from my house, and it's a routine, and it's like I'm so in my body at that moment. I think that's something that I really struggle with, and probably a lot of people struggle with, especially with social media, is it's so easy to be like weirdly mentally stimulated all the time. And I'll just put my phone away, and for the whole hour or hour and a half that I'm there, it's just about me and my body and my podcast and my music that I'm listening to, and that is like real sacred time for me.
Yeah, I like it. What about you, Georgia?
I would say similar to you, actually. The sea is it's not even that it makes me feel totally calm. I feel quite humbled by the majesty of the sea sometimes.
Small.
But
yeah,
and I think I really appreciate that it molds to any shape that you are. So however you return to it, it will take you in. And I also like that it has this amniotic, salty quality, that it's this kind of maternal force that when the tide comes in, it takes things and then turns them up and regurgitates them. And I don't know. I would say being in water and also being being on stage for a Wednesday's Child gig. Those are two of the times that I feel the most free. And it's not even about being comfortable, but it is about being safe.
Yeah.
I
totally
love that.
agree about being on stage with Wednesday's Child.
Do you inhabit a song when you're up on stage? Do you feel like you inhabit that song for the duration of the song? You're not. It's less of a performance. It's more of you're in the music.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you would say about this, Amelia, but I think that even though we've spoken about theatrics and some people come to see us and think that, I guess I've had people say after shows sometimes how much of a performance it is, and but I always think it's very rooted in, I mean, nothing is all the gestural stuff and all the emotional stuff, nothing is put on. That just comes from us loving each other and having lived the songs so truthfully. I don't know about you, Amelia.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, basically the exact same thing. I feel like I just inhabit that space with those people. And there's always one point in one song where I always wink at Georgia on the stage. And that just came from like one time I just caught her eye and I was like, oh, that's my best friend. I'm going to wink at her. And now I do it every time because it's like, it's just like sometimes to like look at the people you're on stage with and make eye contact with them. Sometimes I'll forget that I'm even like playing music. I'm just there with these people and it's just happening around us. And that's really nice.
It actually reminded me, there's a bit as well in Darkness Mine, which is the new single coming out. There's like an instrumental section midway through the song where we all kind of start like thrashing about. And Amelia, I love turning to Amelia because she'll just be like playing the piano with so much passion. And I'm just like, yes, let's fucking go.
I feel like all like the guitarist and the drummer, like it's so easy to like really rock out. I feel like it's harder on the piano. So I have to go for it. Show everyone that you can do it. I mean,
the
piano.
other day
it might look silly, but
the other day when we were recording, Amelia is originating playing a bassoon in a rock band, and that is such a cool thing, the way that you rock out on a bassoon.
Again, it looks weird, but it can be done.
Of course it can. And anything can be done. Do you know what I was going to say to you? You should, whatever happens with this group that you've got now, you need to remember how all of this feels forever and ever. You will remember how this feels forever and ever, right? I'm telling you that now because I did an interview as part of this series of podcasts with somebody I was in a band with when I was 14. That's a long time ago, all right? And that they're now an international artist. They're, well-known drummer, orchestrator, writer of albums for just about everybody famous in the world. But when I talked to him, he said, I'm still looking, whenever I get onto a stage with a group of musicians, I'm still looking for that thing that we had when I was 11 and you were 14. Still looking for it. No, you will remember. You will remember this for. I'm just telling you that now because you're young, but you will remember this for your entire life. You will always look for this. All right, whatever happens.
I would say as well that feeling is a lot of what the EP, the through line of the story is about. That if you are able to find and build that family of close people that care about you and you care about them, and also if you are able to commune with yourself because they give you the space to do that and have a wholeness in yourself, if you're stable in yourself, you can interact with people in your life in a very safe and present and responsive and true way.
Absolutely. In terms of style, do you feel like now's actually a great time for being able to do something that's a little bit different? Because I do. I feel like now there's much, as much as there's a saturation of music, and I feel like it's difficult to make the money out of music, etc. Because you know, it's the record industry isn't what the record industry used to be, and the way that money's made in out of music is so different. I do feel like there's at least there's an openness to people being quite experimenting in terms of their sound and what they're doing at the moment, especially over the last couple of years. I feel like we're seeing some really interesting art coming out of the music scene at the moment. Do you sense that? Do you see that from when you go out live playing? Are people very open to what you're doing?
Yeah, I would say so. I think there are like so many artists on the scene that we're in that, yeah, I just listen to their music and I'm like, it's so cool. It's so them. Like they found another thing that, and like there are people, we have recurring people that come to our gigs, like people, you know, comment and like our music, and it's, you know, yeah, I think there's enough people that are looking for that and making that it's a really exciting little space.
Georgia, what do you say to all of those stupid people who are my age who keep saying on social media, and it drives me up the wall, there's no good music anymore?
I feel that people would say that about anything ever, right?
It's rose-tinted specs though, isn't it?
Right? I think it's just about, I mean, I'm a culprit for this as well. I think I moved to London with a lot of romantic views of what it could be. And sometimes I think just where is that cultural, young artistic moment of people gathering in rooms and getting really sweaty and riled up, and it's not that doesn't exist.
It's all happening in Bristol. That's why. I mean, you're in the wrong place.
It's just about finding it, but that can seem so hard. That if you're not in it, it can seem like a real insider's club or something secret. And then once you do find the right people and the thing that chimes with you, I think it's just about like whenever anything becomes in any way popular, it's like punk music. Like punk music wasn't meant to be a mainstream thing. It kind of goes against the ethos of what punk is. And as soon as something becomes exciting, it inevitably becomes more sanitized because you're trying to appeal to a wider group of people. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I do think that to stop something from being a cult and to keep it as a culture is to keep it very specific and for a small community of people. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's just my gut to that question.
I just feel like I feel like now is a really, really good time. And I just feel like even some artists that have had quite good mainstream, or at least, you know, reasonable sort of return and presence are beginning to look for something that little bit different, you know. I mean, even this week, I mean, we've seen, you may have seen like the you know, the new collaboration between Aurora and the Chemical Brothers. You seen that?
I haven't seen that. Have you?
Yeah. And you just think, wow, this is, you know, this is like people trying to just come together because they want to make something that's different, as opposed to and something that's real, as opposed to they could have carried on very easily, sort of just going the direction they were, but feel like people are coming together now out of wanting to find something, you know, find something real. I think that's good.
I would say as well that I think the times when that is most thrilling is when you can tell that is an artist's organic creation, that was just something that they needed to express. I think where I get a bit wary is when people are creating in reaction to just being something different, just to be something opposite. I think I connect most with when artists kind of are able to put blinders on and make something. I think the new Rosalia album is an example of that. It doesn't seem like she's doing that in a reactive way. It's stories that really came up and out of her, and something was using her as a vessel for those kinds of. Amelia studied classical music, and the way that she's integrated that into pop music, I find so inspiring.
Yeah, 100%. Well, she's making the right friends when it comes to that sort of thing as well. I mean, Björk's on that record, right? And Björk's always pushed the envelope, always.
Yeah.
Never like settled for like, this is where I need to be. Over the years, I like artists like that inspiring to you, people that have constantly sort of gone, right, actually, I want to explore music. I want to explore sound. I want to explore imagery. I want to explore the art, you know, and its connection to things as well. I mean, Björk, for example, did that whole thing with David Attenborough, exploring sort of like how we are and how, you know, the creativity of where we come from. I just feel like that's what a true artist should be about, really, not just centered around kind of just music. I mean, that sounds bad, doesn't it? But not just centered around music, but the whole creative experience. Are those the kind of people that are inspiring to you?
Yeah, 100%, definitely. Joel's been on a very big Björk hype recently, so I'm sure he.
So he's been sat there going.
Yeah, I think it comes for all of us at one point in our lives. We suddenly go, "Oh my God, this is the best thing ever."
Yeah, and I think good artists remind us of that it's not just about how something looks, it's about how it feels, and it's not just about what is, it's about what could be. And that is not just an experience on stage, but in everyday life. You can wake up and choose different actions and choose different thoughts, and always it comes back to what we were talking about at the start, a commitment to curiosity and not just accepting life as it is. And I think social media wants us to accept what is instead of looking forward and inventing the new. It's just like a postmodern regurgitation.
I think good art should make us question, and I think good art should also be difficult for a minute as well.
Yeah.
I think that's part and parcel of it. I think the biggest problem that we have these days is that, you know, the mechanism is constantly telling us that we need this in 20 seconds, right? Because we need to be attracted to it in the shortest period of time because our attention spans are too little. But actually, we've all got it within us to not have a 20-second attention span. We just need to find that again, you know?
Yeah.
That's a lie that is being perpetrated, really.
You have to fight for the freedom in your own life, and you have to fight for your free will, because it's like voting. If you don't vote, you're just voting for who wins. And if you don't make these kinds of choices, how you spend your days is how you're going to spend your whole life. And if you're not choosing creatively within your own life and how you identify with yourself and how you remember all the dismembered parts of yourself, then it's a submissive way of living.
Yeah, make it hard, folks.
Yeah, be uncomfortable, and also listen to your pain. That it's directional. Listen to your anger and be uncomfortable.
Goes back to what you're writing about again. Yeah,
and collaborating, I just think, is such a great way to do that. I think for so many years I really worked in solitude on anything creative, and I think as a lot of people do to this day, like, find it difficult sometimes to be creating with people in a room and to be that vulnerable and to be uncomfortable in that way and to let things be wrong and not be at the end point yet and sit with that discomfort in a room with people. And I think it's a really good skill that everyone should learn and can begin to be an amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I've loved talking to both of you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Great
Questions.
I want people to go out there now and and enjoy the uncomfortability of listening to you, and until it becomes a bit more comfortable. That's the way that great music is about. Some of the music I've loved the most over the years has just taken that bit more effort, you know.
Yeah.
But that's
100% agree.
When you move past that effort, because I've got this big thing about the fact that we need to learn to listen again, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like we get so lazy with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, everything else in life we learn, right? We don't get born knowing how to do most communication, right? We have to learn to write, we have to learn to talk, we have to learn to do all of those things. We have to learn to listen, and we have to learn to listen to music as well. And if we stop learning to listen to music because we go, no, that's what I like, and I don't want to listen to anything else, you know, let's narrow that down and just go, that's pop, that will do. Then we're cutting off such a big opportunity to really kind of broaden the way that we think and feel and understand the world, and you know, just experience. So stop being so lazy, people.
I really like that you say learning to listen, though, because listening, what you're listening to is constantly changing and evolving. So the way that you listen to it has to change and evolve.
Yeah, no, 100%. So please go and try and listen now to Wednesday's Child. Give it a go. You know, if you enjoy it, or if you don't enjoy it, still pop and say hello. And if you don't enjoy it the first time round, listen to it again, and then again, and then again. And I can guarantee you, if you keep going, you will actually start to find something in there that you enjoy. The thing is that you know, you've been conditioned so much, some of you, to listen to certain stuff.
I think even if you don't enjoy it, though, that's just as useful at all. Why don't you enjoy it?
Yeah.
What would you enjoy more?
Well, what would you enjoy more? And they'll tell you what you can go and listen to.
Yeah.
That's you know, more your kind of thing. Amelia, Georgia, thank you so much, and say hi to the other two members of the band. In fact, thank you to Alex, who's organised this and is in the background as well.
Thank you, Alex.
We will be back with more conversations about music soon, but until then, from Wednesday's Child and myself, thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation today. Bye for now.